Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Friday, June 14th, 2019. Hope everybody had a great weekend, or a great week, I should say. We are now approaching the weekend, and so much to talk about over the week. Tonight, it's going to be not as much on the world news headlines, but we do have some important information to go over once again on this channel. Go ahead and check us out at thegrandsolarminimum.com, where we have our show links that are put together that Mari takes care of us for every show that we do live. We keep them here for convenience so you guys can check out the same sources that we have for the show. So all the links will be available here at our website, thegrandsolarminimum.com. Let's jump right into it. Our solar wind speed sitting at 426.7 kilometers per second, which has dropped a little bit since this morning. We were in the 450 range at that point, coming out of some solar wind that had hit our Earth's magnetic field today. 6.1 density. And right now, let's go to SPACEWEATHER.com, where we have 0 sunspots to report to you once again. And that is still 26 days now in a row. 100 for 2019. So continuing the streak, taking a look at our KP indices, we're dropped down to a 1. Earlier this morning, we were at a 4, not quite geomagnetic conditions, but we did see a spark and an increase in solar wind. It never really got past the 400 kilometers per second in the upper range, I should say. But there is our blank sun, and let's take a look at our star on the motion SDO. There's a weak coronal hole right now that is Earth facing, and honestly guys, if you're looking here closely, just nothing really to notice too much, but just a lot of peppered, I should say, with coronal holes here in the front, small ones. They are now Earth facing. We do expect some kind of effect from these on the 17th of June, but not expecting anything too hectic. I want to point out real quick, as this stopped, let's put it back in motion, and a lot of times we could always see action on the eastern limb, but for sunspot reasons. But how do we know if we're dealing with coronal holes that are coming around? And usually when you see things like this, a dip in the corona, that usually indicates the slight possibility of some minor coronal holes. And right now, as you guys can see, we're not really looking at anything monstrous or anything coming around the bend that's going to create problems as far as geomagnetic storms are concerned. So I just wanted to point that out as well. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at our star on the whole here. All the way around right now, guys, we are in the pretty much good to go zone when it comes to sunspots. There is a weak area that we might have to watch past the negative 90 mark for coronal holes, which is those edges that I was showing you, the slight dips. But other than that, the sun is beyond quiet at this point, unless we just get a last minute sunspot that develops on its own for no particular reason. But like I said, I was showing you guys on the SDO, the angstrom 193 angstrom, you could see a little bit of dip on the eastern limb edge of the corona. And here we see in the negative 90 that we possibly have, that's going to be our next coronal hole that we might have to deal with. It could give us some geomagnetic activity. Still a few days out on that, so we got plenty of time to worry about that. All right, let's get into some of these world news headlines. TSI is still not available to this, for us anyway, for me I should say. So we'll go right into our world news section tonight. Death toll surpasses 60. 9,300 homes collapse as heavy rain hits China. Heavy rain affecting southern and central China this week claimed the lives of at least 64 people and forced evacuations of 356,000. The region is affected stretches from Guangdong to Chongqing. According to data provided by China's Ministry of Emergency Management on June 14th, floods and landslides destroyed 9,300 homes and damaged 3.7 million or 916 million acres of crops, causing direct economic losses of around 13.35 billion yuan, but US dollars would be more around 1.93 billion. And a correction on the damaged acres, that would be 3.71 million acres. More than 4,300 people were rescued from the floodwaters. More than 20,000 homes in the southwest region of Yanqi are without power. A massive landslide hit a 390-foot section of the road in Huan City, Fujian Province, early June 14th, leaving one person dead and 2 missing. Guys, check this out. We can go without the music. And there is a person back here in the background wearing red shorts, and he better get the heck out of the way, and he does, fortunately, in time. But, I mean, that took no time. So there was a gentleman who was in one of these cars when this landslide hit. He was trapped inside. So this is the aftermath of what, after all the rain that we've had in this region. We've talked about this on several broadcasts now. This is kind of like an update. Since the start of the rainy season, heavy rainfall and floods affected 6.75 million people, according to the official data provided in June 11. This is down from 48% from the average affected population over the past 5 years. Direct economic losses to June 11th amounted to 10 billion yuan, or about 1.5 billion US dollars, down 41% from the average of the amount of last 5 years. Again, thank you to watchers.news for the information. And we will leave the link, like I said, here at our website, thegrandsolarminimum.com. And moving on to another world news, unfortunately, we're talking about the UK now. 2 months worth of rain in just 48 hours triggers floods, disrupts travel in the UK. Parts of central United Kingdom recorded double the amount of rain that typically falls during the entire month of June in just 2 days. In the 48 hours ending on morning of June 12, 2019, a total of 4.22 inches flooded Holbeach in Lincolnshire. The town receives an average of about 2 inches of rain during the entire month, and they got double that in just 2 days. Rainfall totals this time in Lincolnshire included 4.83 inches. Tetford had 3.9 inches, according to the UK Met Office. Hawarden in the northeastern Wales usually receives around 2.33 each June, but recorded 2.63 inches from the night of June 10th to the morning of June 12th. And as you can see, several areas did pick up 3.5 to 4 inches of rain across the UK. The number of flash flooding incidents continue to mount across the UK as rainfall totals increased, AccuWeather reports. And here we have some train tracks underwater, very common sight throughout the region. Several properties under 2 feet of water in Wainfleet after the river steeping burst its banks. And just unfortunate to see, I've seen Twitter and our friend Starman has reported a lot on this, talking about how awful the conditions have been. We were in an amber warning on the, I believe, Monday through Wednesday of this week. So we reported about it Monday. We warned about it, and unfortunately, lots of rain, lots of flooding. The Lincolnshire Fire and Rescue responded to more than 100 flood-related calls on June 11th alone. River Waring overflowed its banks and low-lying land, causing the roads to flood. And Horncastle, the level of the river at Horncastle's Banks Road peaked at 4.36 feet during early Tuesday afternoon. Minor's flood stage there is 2.23 feet, so moderate flooding, still very high though. The M25 in Kent was temporarily closed in both directions after 2 sinkholes opened, according to the BBC News. Travel chaos also extended to railways. Many rivers throughout the Midlands, Wales, and England rose above minor flood stage, AccuWeather says. A total of 1.34 inches of rain was recorded at London's Heathrow Airport in just 24 hours, ending on the morning of June 11th. So we have train, plane, and automobile that was affected by all of the rain that we have received in the 48 hours, and those amber warnings were rightly so issued. So we'll leave the link in the description. We hope everybody is recovering from this. Just awful scenes now in the UK. We've seen these scenes in China, Japan, India, Turkey, Africa, Germany, northern Italy, France, the UK, of course, the United States, Mexico, Guatemala, Ontario, other parts of Canada as well. Australia, we've seen major flooding there. Iraq, Iran. This is in the last 5.5 months that we've reported on flooding to this level or worse. That's just a lot of precipitation falling from the sky all over the world. You would think that we're just going underwater right now, but that is due to cosmic ray influxes, the highest levels we've seen. And of course, I'm going to talk a little bit more about last night's broadcast as well, and we'll talk about why we're seeing such high cosmic rays and why we are seeing such crazy weather here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, guys.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.